So here guys, I would simply say find all the products whose suppose price is what? Greater than 100 and name is suppose P1. Okay, or else what I would do is price is 100 and name is P1. That would be better because we have two P1 products whose price is 100 and name is okay. So we would just say give me all the products. So for that I would simply write dollar, and first of all I would write my operator, okay, operator. Then I would simply write here inside this, I would write all my comparisons. Okay, I can make comparison between any number of elements, any number of fields. Okay, so I'm just saying first of all the price must be what? Price must be equal to 100. So I would just say equal to. So yeah, now you can see it's getting complicated. So dollar equal to, so dollar equal to price must be equal to 100. And what else you want? You also want something that is your name must be what? Name must be equal. Okay, so price is equal to 100, right? And name is actually something like this was actually our name field in product. So name is actually what? Name is suppose P1, right? Name is suppose P1. So I'm just saying give me all the products whose price is 100 and name is P1. Okay, so it would just give me all the products in this on those documents both of these field exist. Okay, if any of the field doesn't exist, then that document won't be returned. Okay, so if I just hit this, so you can see I got P1 and P1, but I didn't get P4. Previously I was getting P4. If I just write find those document whose price is equal to 100, if I just show you the complete uh, document, you would see that if I just show you the complete collection, you can see I have three documents whose price is 100, but I didn't get this one because its name is P4, price is 100. That means both fields are not there, only 100 is there. Okay, in this case you can see both fields are here. That means I'm just getting these two ones. Okay, that's why AND operation is performed. That means if both fields are there, then only you would get the result. Okay, now similarly we have the OR operation, right? So for the OR operation, instead of this I'm going to write the OR operation. So it would simply say I would get all the objects, either 100 must be there or P1 must be there. If both are there, then that's totally fine, but at least one thing must be there. So you can see in this case at least 100 is here, price 100 is here. That means it's returned. Okay, so that's how the OR operation would work in this case, right? So similarly guys, we have NOT and NOR operation also. So NOR operation would simply return me everything except these. Okay, so if I write NOR operations, if I hit this, you can see it's returning me everything except those who have P1 and or it has 100. Okay, either it has P1 or it has 100. In both cases they won't be returned. Okay, so you can see except these three, everything is returned. So you can see everything is returned. Okay, that's the NOR operation, right? Similarly we have NOT operation. So NOT operation is very easy. You have to just simply put wherever you want. For example, it's actually inside the logical operator. It's not a comparison operator, but still we use it sometimes in comparison also. You are just going to say, suppose I want to find all the people whose all the products whose price is suppose equal to so dollar equal to 100. So it would give me all the products whose price is equal to 100. Instead of this, if I write this bracket, okay, I would write one more bracket here, and now here I'm just going to say the price is actually not equal to, so I would just find the opposite. That means it would just give me the opposite. That means except 100 everything would be returned. So you can see I'm getting everything. Okay, everything. That's how it actually works. Now instead of this, you can provide the AND operation also, whatever you want. So it would give you opposite results of anything. Previously it was giving me all the products which have 100. Now it's giving me all the products who don't have 100. That's it. Okay, so that means completely opposite, right? So that's how actually the NOT operator works. So guys, these were some operators which I wanted to tell you, and we actually talked about all four right now, right? So now after this, what we have to do is we have to look for some extra things which we have here. Okay, so we are actually going to talk about complex expressions. That means, for example, you have some fields like, okay, so let me just first of all create a database, a collection and So first of all, let me just create a document, a collection. Okay, so first of all, let's create a collection. So I'll just write db dot create collection, and inside this, I'm just going to say sales. Okay, and let's say we have sales or something else. So I'll just say sales, or I'll just say revenue. Okay, so revenue. Okay, so revenue would be better. So I'll just create a collection of revenue. So I've just created this. Now I'll just say inside revenue, inside revenue, I would just say we are going to have some field. So I'll just write insert one, and inside this we are going to have some field. For example, we are just going to say income. Suppose income is 100 or 10. Okay, that 10 would be better. And then expense is suppose 5. Okay, suppose in this case expense is 5. And then you can see we have one more thing, minimum, which is actually, we have just named minimum, which is actually suppose 50. Okay, which is suppose 50. So now I'm just going to say our profit must be greater than minimum. Our profit is what? Here you can see 10 was income, 5 was expense. That means 5 is the profit, 5 is the remaining money. So 5 is greater than 50 or not? No, it's not greater than 50. So if you want to perform those operators, when you want to add something, you want to add, subtract, multiply something, then compare that later on with some other value, that means you are going to perform 2-3 complex operations all together. So for that we have expressions. Okay, so first of all, let's create some objects similar to this. So I'm just going to say suppose my income is this time suppose my income is 55. Okay, so you can see now it's fine. Now similar to this, suppose my income is this time 40. So you can see this is fine. And suppose if I say my income is now expense is 35, 25. So you can see that's how it actually works, right? So now I'm just going to say that I would simply say I would like to add a formula. I would just say income minus expense must be greater than minimum. Okay, in which case it's there. So you can see income minus expense is not greater than, income minus expense is greater than minimum, income minus expense is greater than minimum, income minus expense is not greater than minimum. Okay, suppose I want to get these two only. That means I want to get those data which is giving me profit. This first data and second data is giving me loss, right? So now let's see. So how it actually does is I would simply write db dot revenue, right? And here I just want to say we have an expression. Okay, so we are just going to provide an expression. So we just write dollar expr. Okay, expression. Now inside this I'm just going to provide my greater than operation. Okay, so I'm just going to say dollar gt. What must be greater than what? So my profit must be greater than minimum. Okay, that's what I want. So I would just first of all find my profit. For that, what I can say is I would just create first of all an array. First of all, create an array because we want to perform two things. Okay, so here I've just created an array, and inside this, guys, I would simply say I would like to compare it with what? I would like to compare it with what? I would like to compare it with minimum. So I would simply write dollar minimum. I want to compare it with minimum, right? I want to compare it with minimum. What I have to compare? I want to first of all find the profit. So I would simply say for finding the profit, what I want to perform is subtraction. Okay. So for that, I would simply write dollar and SUBTRACD. Similarly, if you want to add something, you would write add, dollar add, then you would write dollar multiply for multiplication. Similarly for dollar divide, so for division. Okay, but I want to subtract. Okay, I want to subtract. Now what you want to subtract from whom? So I want to simply say, since you want to subtract, so again you would be providing an array. Okay, you would be providing an array here, and here inside this I would like to just provide the fields which I want to write here. Okay, so I would just write dollar. First is actually I want to subtract income. Okay, income, and then I would simply write dollar. Okay, so I would simply write dollar expense. Okay, so dollar and expense. So it would actually subtract one expression from another. That means if you want to subtract this income from expense, you would write it like this. So now if I'm just going to hit enter, you can see, okay, I actually missed out some syntax. Let me just double check. So you can see, first of all, this inner one is actually fine. This inner one is fine. Then after this we have outer one, so you can see this is also fine, right? This is also fine. One problem is here, you have to provide a comma here. Okay, you have to provide a comma here, right? So after this we have one more problem, that is one expression is missing here. Why it's missing? Because we have to provide, actually we have to close this array. So you can see we have this dollar sign, then we have this closing sign, and after this, okay, we actually forgot to provide this. Okay, so you can see we have to actually close it here. You can see this is it, but we have to close it here. Okay, so we would simply write the closing. Okay, now if I hit this again, some problem is here. So let me just write it again. Okay, let me just write it again. So here we had what? We had one sign here, expr. Okay, we had one expression here. Now after this we need to simply write something like, okay, so first of all we have the expression. Now inside this we are going to, okay, it's always recommended to first of all make the brackets. That would actually make things a lot easier. So now in this case everything is fine. So here I would just provide the LT sign. Okay, so dollar, I'll explain that again, just a second. So dollar, and here we want to write the subtract. Okay, so subtract. Then here I want to subtract from what? So just write again, and then the brackets. Inside these brackets I want to subtract my income and expense. Okay, so just write dollar income. Okay, that means expense from my income. So income, comma, and then dollar sign expense. Okay, expense, that's how it's written. So you are just going to subtract expense from your income. Okay, so that's how these brackets work. So you are added the brackets. Now in the greater than, you have added the first field. Okay, so you can see in the greater than, you actually added the first field to your array. This is the greater GT array, right? You can see this is the GT. Inside this we had this array, right? So we are just going to say after this a second operation, second field would be what? So I want to just say your subtraction must be greater than your minimum. Okay, so I would just say your profit must be greater than your minimum. So you just need to provide your profit. Okay, that's it. So here you just write dollar and then minimum. So if you hit this, so you can see okay, actually it's a dot here, so you have to write a dot here. Okay, so it's like dot find. Okay, dot find, and now I think it must work properly. So you can see that it's giving me that specific one whose income minus expense is bigger than this. Okay, so actually I must write GTE. Okay, GTE would actually give me, if minimum is actually equal to profit, then it would, or it would also be returns if I write GTE. So you can see, yes, you can see minimum is this and my income minus expense is 50. So if it's greater than 50 or equal to 50, then also you would get the result. So you can see it's greater than 40, you are getting the result. It's equal to 50, you are getting the result. That means in both cases you are getting the result. Okay, so I hope now you understood how you actually use expressions, but let me just explain that again. What we are doing is we are going to perform multiple operations. So for that we actually have expressions, that is expr. What it does is, here you can see we have the first expression. What it does is we have simply written GTE, and inside this we have an array. I'm just saying that compare these two. First is this, compare this with our minimum. That means I'm just saying whatever is the result of this, must be greater than or equal to minimum. Now for this you can see it's very easy. Again we are performing the subtract, and I'm just saying subtract expense from my income. That's what I have said. Okay, so first of all subtract expense from my income, then compare it with minimum. If it's greater than or equal to minimum, then it would be returned. So that's how expressions work here. You can see similarly you can add multiple expressions to this, right? So guys, I hope you understood this part of the video, and we performed all the operators, all the read operations, which are really important.